Okay, so let's talk about something nobody really explains to you when you start working. You get your first real paycheck. Maybe it's $14, $15 an hour. And look, that first paycheck hits different. You feel it. You worked for this. This is yours. And then rent is due, and groceries, and your phone bill, and that one subscription you forgot about. And suddenly, that paycheck is just gone. Like it was never there. And you think, okay, this is temporary. I'll make more soon. Things will get easier. Here's the thing though. For most people, they make more and things don't get easier because nobody showed them the levels. So that's what this is. Every level of a salaried worker's finances, where most people get stuck, what the ones who make it actually do differently, and the real numbers at every stage. Let's go.
Level 1. This is where almost everyone starts, and honestly, where a scary number of people stay way longer than they should. You're making somewhere between $14 and $18 an hour. Take home after taxes, call it $1,800 to $2,200 a month, depending on your state. And here's how level 1 finances typically look. Rent, probably eating 40 to 50% of your income if you're in any city that matters. Groceries, phone, maybe a car payment, utilities, and then whatever's left, which usually isn't much, just kind of disappears into food, small purchases, streaming services you barely use. Savings at level 1? Basically zero. Not because you're irresponsible, but because the math genuinely doesn't work yet. You're not bad with money, you're just at the level where surviving is the budget. Here's what most people do wrong at level 1. They wait. They think, I'll start saving when I make more. I'll start investing when I have real money. I'll figure this out later. And I get it, completely. But here's the problem with waiting.
The person who puts $20 a month away at 22, and I know $20 sounds embarrassing, beats the person who starts with $200 a month at 32. The math on that is genuinely wild, and we'll come back to it. Level 1 move. Open a separate account. Put whatever doesn't hurt in it, even $10. Not because $10 changes your life, but because the habit does. The people who make it past level 1 aren't the ones who suddenly made more money. They're the ones who built the muscle before they needed it.
Level 2. Treading water. $18 to $28 an hour. Take-home pay, $2,400 to $3,600 per month. Okay, you got a raise, or you switched jobs, or you developed a skill that bumped you up. Welcome to level 2. This is, and I say this with love, the most dangerous level financially. Because at level 2, you finally have a little breathing room. And breathing room, for most people, immediately becomes nicer apartment, newer car, more dinners out. The lifestyle just expands to fill whatever space opened up. This is called lifestyle inflation. And it is silent and it is brutal. And it gets almost everyone here. Look, I'm not saying don't enjoy your raise. Enjoy it. That's the point of working. But here's what actually happens to most people's net worth at level 2 despite earning more. Almost nothing changes because every raise got spent before it could do anything. The people who leave level 2 in better shape than they entered, they do one specific thing. They treat the raise like it doesn't fully exist.
Say you went from $2,200 take-home to $2,800. That's $600 more a month. Most people spend all $600. The people who move up, they spend maybe $200 of it and redirect $400. Not because they're saints, because they understand the math of what that $400 does over 10 years. $400 a month invested for 10 years at 7%, almost $70,000 from one decision, made once when the raise hit. Level 2 is where your financial trajectory actually gets decided. Not level 4, not level 5. Here, when the money first has some room to breathe.
All right, now we're getting somewhere. Level 3 is where things start clicking. You've got real income, probably a 401k at this point. Maybe you've been investing a little. The net worth number is actually moving. And this is genuinely exciting. Like, you check the account and the number went up without you doing anything that week. Dividends hit, compound growth is visible. It's working. Here's where level 3 goes wrong, though. 2 things. First, overconfidence. You start feeling wealthy before you are wealthy. The number looks big, but if you divided it by how much you actually need, it's still months of expenses, not years. Second, bad deals start finding you. At level 3, your success becomes visible. Friends with business ideas, family members with investment opportunities, crypto tips, real estate deals that need one more investor. And look, some of those deals are real, but most of them aren't. And the ones that aren't, they speak exactly the language of the ones that are. Exclusive, limited, strong upside. You don't want to miss this. The filter here is simple. Would this deal still look good in 60 days with no pressure? Real opportunities survive that question. Most don't. Level 3 is also where taxes start actually mattering. The difference between someone who has a tax strategy and someone who doesn't at this income, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars over a decade. Not from earning more, from keeping more of what you already earn. Level 3 move, find a CPA who talks to you more than once a year. The ones who only show up in April, those are tax preparers. You want a tax strategist. Different thing entirely.
Level 4. Building real wealth. $50 to $75 an hour or salary $90K to $140K. Net worth starting to stack. Okay, level 4. This is where the gap between people who understand money and people who don't becomes visible. Like actually visible. In the numbers, in the stress levels, in the options available. At level 4 income, if you've been doing the previous levels right, you should have somewhere between $50,000 and $200,000 in net worth. Investments running, emergency funds solid, debt either gone or manageable. If you haven't been doing the previous levels right, and a lot of people at this income haven't, you have a high income and almost nothing to show for it. The lifestyle expanded with every raise. The car payment is heavy. The apartment got nicer every 2 years. The net worth is surprisingly thin for what you earn. Neither version is permanent, but the gap gets harder to close the longer it stays open. Here's what level 4 people who are actually building wealth do.
They treat their income like a business. Revenue in, allocation decided before a single discretionary dollar gets spent. The system moves money first. The lifestyle lives on what remains. And they start thinking beyond their salary. Because at level 4, you finally have enough invested that the investments themselves are generating something meaningful. Maybe it's small, $1,000 a year in dividends. But that $1,000 is the proof of concept. The system works. Now, scale it. The concept at level 4, your salary is not the point anymore. Your salary is the raw material. What you build with it, that's the point.
Level 5, the 4% territory. All right, this is the level most people don't even know exists as a concept. The 4% rule. It says when your invested assets are large enough that 4% of them covers your annual expenses, you are functionally financially free. Not retired if you don't want to be. Not done working if you love what you do. Just you work because you choose to, not because you have to. Let's make that real. If you spend $40,000 a year, your number is $1 million invested. If you spend $60,000, $1.5 million. If you spend $30,000, $750,000. And here's what most people miss about this number. You don't reach it in one move. You reach it because every level before it compounded. The $20 from level 1, the $400 a month from level 2, the tax strategy from level 3, the salary as raw material mindset from level 4. None of those individually gets you here. All of them together, consistently, over time, does.
Only about 4% of salaried workers in America reach a net worth of over $1 million.
Not because a million is impossible on a normal salary, but because most people don't know the levels. They don't know what to do at each stage. They optimize for income, which is one variable, instead of optimizing for the system, which is everything. And look, this isn't about becoming a millionaire for the sake of a number. It's about the morning where you wake up and the alarm going off is optional. That's what the number actually buys. Not things, options.
The math that connects all 5 levels. Let me show you the math on someone who does this right. Starts at 22, making $14 an hour. Puts away $20 a month because that's what's available. Gets a raise at 24, redirects half of it. Gets to level 2 income at 26. Lifestyle stays mostly the same. $400 a month now going to investments. Gets to level 3 at 30. 401k maxed. Roth IRA running, tax strategy in place, investment account growing. Level 4 at 35. Income around $100,000. Net worth approximately $240,000. Investing $800 a month consistently. Level 5, the work optional number, somewhere around 47 to 50 depending on market returns. That's the path. $14 an hour to financially free before 50 from a normal salary job. Not crypto, not a startup exit, not inherited money. Just the levels. Done in order, done consistently. The people who don't make it aren't unlucky. They just didn't know the levels existed. Now you do.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is easy. It's not. Level 1 is genuinely hard. Level 2 is genuinely tempting. Level 3 has genuinely bad deals waiting for you. But the alternative is staying at whatever level you're at right now for another decade, wondering why the salary increases didn't change anything. Figure out which level you're at. Do the one move that level requires. That's it. Not all 5 levels at once, just the next one. Drop your level in the comments. Genuinely curious where people are watching from.